This is Andi Purewal for Boxing News. I'm joined by Sonny Edwards out here in Saudi Arabia. Sonny, firstly, it's good to see you. I just want to say, obviously, we was very impressed. Very brilliant performance from yourself last week. I know in the long term for you it might not mean much because of the end result, but yeah, a terrific showing. And just kind of, yeah, take me back. How are you feeling since?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people expected me to be miserable, down and out, questioning myself, but there's a couple of things that, you know, sit with me. One, I knew Bam was a great fight and I knew I was getting into a high competitive level fight. So there's that. And two, in my mind and in my heart, if my eye didn't go so early in the second round, from just a jab as well, that's what kind of is a sickening feeling. It's not like the shot he put me down with, he blew up my face. He hit me with a jab and my eye went psh, and I was seeing double from the rest of the fight. It was for me, that's hard. Not that anyone else cares, not that, you know what I mean, nor should Bam care, or nor does it detract from Bam winning, but just for me and my, you know, perception, I feel like every confidence that that's still a fight I could definitely win, given slightly different circumstances. I think I showed the level of competitiveness, even with the sort of visual impairment, but like I said, that's all just for me and my mind. Like, no one else cares about that. I feel like it was a great fight. I feel like I decided by the end of the second round that I couldn't see when he was in range or out of range. I couldn't see when he was twitching his shoulder like I normally do. I couldn't see when he was moving his feet like I normally do. And nothing spectacular what he was doing. Just my eyesight weren't really there after the second round. So I decided the only way I'm going to know he's there is when he's right in front of me. So if he throws, I throw. And that's kind of what we did for about 7 rounds. He went, I went, he went, I went, he went, I went, and we're just going back and forth. And I think it did make for, you know, probably one of the best fights of the year. So I've been getting told. Like, I'll leave that to everyone else, but I've probably had more positive comments losing in a good fight than I have for winning all my boring fights. You know what I mean? So
does it mean anything to you, having that reception, even though you didn't get the victory?
You know what meant something? Being part of an event that people genuinely cared about. Either side, they really wanted me to win, or they really wanted Bam to win, or if not, they really wanted to find out how the fight went. I think every other time I've boxed, there's always been something happening in boxing that night bigger. And I feel like that week, and especially the fight night, I feel like it kind of took over the boxing world, and rightfully so. I think when two young fighters put out their O's, their world titles and everything up for stake, it should be celebrated like it was. And you know, I grew up and come through seeing flyweight world champions at 7:30, 8 o'clock on the undercard of a big night's boxing. I've now become the big nights of boxing, and I'll do everything I can to be there again and again and again. And I've spoke to Eddie and Frank Smith, and they're on the same page as me. They think my stock's risen. They think more people want to see me fight than ever before. And also they know I'm a very easy person to make a fight with. I'm very professional. I turn up. I do everything that's asked of me. I do more than that's asked, really. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the future. I still feel like there's years and years and years left ahead of me, and achievements and accolades. Yeah, okay, it's a bit disappointing for me and my ambition and my self-belief and how good I am, to suffer a defeat, but like that doesn't make me feel any less than myself. I know I'm a very good fighter, and I always said it's going to take a very good fighter to beat me, and I feel like, yeah, it did. Bam is a very good fighter. He showed it, but I feel like I showed that even with, you know, things that make a fight really hard, I could still very much compete. I still won rounds, but I was probably just getting outworked in the pauses of the action, and that's just because I couldn't see. When he was there in front of me, I could throw back, and I was landing pretty much everything I was throwing, really. Not everything, of course, but yeah, I feel like it's one of those that we're getting, it's two humans getting and having a fight, so if something like that happens, it happens. I can't, you know, I feel a little bit hard done by for myself, but I can't bitch, I can't moan, I can't use that as an excuse. The reality is, I went in there unbeaten and I came out as a defeated man. So hats off to Bam and his team. I enjoyed it. It's genuinely being part of an event that the boxing world felt like that's what I seek. That's what I again and again go after. I just want the fights that the fans want, genuinely. I just want the fights that people actually care about happening, because for pretty much 19 of my fights before, 20 of my fights maybe, it was the Sonny Edwards show, and people didn't really care because they was expecting me to win. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, okay, gutted, disappointed, devastated that I'm no longer world champion, I'm no longer the world #1, and that I've got lost on my record. But very grateful to be part of such an event of such magnitude, and to be part of a fight that people genuinely enjoyed. And I think anytime someone can break me out of my rhythm, whether it's damaging my eye or being good enough to make me fight with them, and I lose, the fights will always look like that because I've only got fighting heart in me. I box because I'm great at boxing. Do you know what I mean? I box on range and pick single shots because I'm great at doing that. But if you actually come and watch me spar, I like fighting. I like having a tear up. I like standing there and going through it. And once I decided in my head, I cannot box this kid now because I can't see him, it's a fight. I just had a fight, and people seem to like the version of me that just has a fight. So who knows? It might be all I do now.
I mean, leads in nicely to my next question. Obviously, you mentioned about I going in the second round. I've been and I watched you spar. I watched you spar Charlie, and it was very much centre of the ring. He goes, you go type thing, is what we saw in the Bam Rodriguez fight. If it wasn't for your eye going though, despite the fact that I saw that in sparring, was that the game plan, or would we have seen you more fleet-footed, what people have been used to seeing you during your boxing career?
Yeah, you would have seen more range. Look at the first round. I was very much controlling my lead step, my first step, who was going outside when I was going inside, countering through the middle. I thought the first round went to plan. I won it on the scorecards away. And if you ask me when I was sat down in between the first and second round, if I thought I was going to win the fight, I don't know. I can't see how I'm going to lose this fight, is what I would have said to you. But about a minute and a half later, my eye went. You know what I mean? And it kind of changed it all. But yeah, I would have boxed more. I would have boxed at range more. But at the same time, you could see the way I was setting up for that fight. I don't really want to keep boxing and moving and running around. I like standing there, one step out, adjust, fire back. Like, it's actually how I like fighting. And in many rings, most rings around world boxing, other than against Bam Rodriguez, I'm probably still beating him even with the eye coming up. But he was good enough that I couldn't get away with that much impairment. And that's what happened. My trainer wanted to call it at the end of the 8th round. I didn't let him. And then the 9th round for me was go out there and win the fight, win the round, do anything I can. And in that motion of trying to do as much as I can, every time he made a mistake throwing, he set me up, touched me to the body, came over, put me down. Grant wanted to pull the fight. I went, what? I was shocked. I was surprised when he mentioned it. He went, simply, you cannot see what he's doing to your face. So obviously there was that in me now. And then I already respect the compassion of Grant. I've never heard him say this to me ever in my life, first time. So the fact that he said it, it was serious. So the 9th round, that was on borrowed time, really. I just went out and wanted to hurt Bam. I wanted to try and make something happen. I wanted to definitely win that round, because if I won that round, I was 1 point down on the scorecards with 3 rounds to go. I'm in a fighting chance. When I got put down at the end of the round, okay, like the shot landed, put me down, but I weren't completely out. I weren't staggering. I weren't looking for a way out. But when I come back, I told Grant the truth. I cannot see him, and that was the truth. I physically couldn't see him like I needed to. I could see 2 of him. There was times in the fight I'm throwing wild shots over there, and people are laughing when Bam's over there. But it's because I thought he was there, because one of them was there, one of them was there, and it was hard for my brain and how I focused to really see anything. So like I said, I just got in there, had a fight, I was here. There's no quitting me. But when I told Grant in that 9th round, look, Grant, I can't see him, he pulled me because he wanted to pull me the round before. So yeah, whether people want to put quit label, I know I ain't got no quit in me. I know I haven't. But let people say what they want to say, because all I've noticed is that I've got a lot of new fans, and everyone that's been waiting for me to fall off has just been marketing me in a different way. Like every single tweet, every single post, every single interview, they're marketing, they don't even realise it. And that's kind of why I set up my way the way I do. That's why I don't mind doubling down on myself the way I do. And like before, win, lose or draw, real fights only. I want to be part of events that people care about. I'm a prize fighter. I don't need to be the champ. I don't need to be unbeaten. I don't need to have won 30, 20, 50 fights in a row to have self-worth. I respect boxing, I respect the boxing ring, and I respect the ambition, the dedication and the sacrifices that my adversaries have made, same as me, to get into a ring. So I know that there's every potential, the way I chase the fights, the way I chase them and have always chased them, that at some point something like this might happen. Doesn't mean I'm any less of a fighter. I still think in my heart, in my head, had the eye gone a bit different, I still think the fight would have went a bit different. A lot of left questions, and hopefully I get a chance to, you know, come again. on that fight because, you know, I feel like Vegeta when he got beaten by Goku the 100th time, like I want you again next. You know what I mean? So that's where my head's at. But I know he wants to move up weight. I know he wants to go to Superfly and big fights. So I'm not going to be out there calling him out. Oh, come on, you avoided me. Nah. But if the fight ever gets offered to me, it's 100%.
One other name I want to put to you is one that you mentioned before the fight, a man who accepted the fight if you would have beaten Bam, Mr. Chocolatito. Have you spoken to him? Are you still saying to him, listen, this is the fight I want next? Is it the fight you want next still, or is there somebody else in your mind?
Look, if Roman Gonzalez comes, I messaged him. He put like a message on Twitter about, and I said, look, you call the shots. If you still want to fight me, next, let's go. Like, it's no, like, there is any part of me that's fallen off in that ring, trust me. If anything, I've gone forward because I know what I did with how much I was going through. No one else does. No one else was in my mind. No one else was looking through my eye. But I know how well I done, like everyone's telling me, with what I was going through. Yeah, so if I can recover, rest, get this healed up, and then I get Roman Gonzalez next, it's a fight 100% I'm taking it. If not, look a bit more logistically easy for me to make as probably the biggest name in the flyweight. You know, I could stay here. The IBF will be vacant again. I could probably go against Angel Ayala, who, in my opinion, robbed Alvarado, one of my old opponents, for the IBF. He was going to be called as my next manager had I won. If not, I can definitely make light flyweight, especially at this age. So I could drop down, fight again for the IBF down there. There's Curio and Not Shinga fighting in February. DAZN could line up a fight in the UK for the back end. There is so many options. For me, though, it's whatever Eddie wants. It's whatever Frank wants, because usually whatever they want is what the fans want for the biggest event, the biggest promotion, and that's what I want. So we're always going to be on the same board. I actually don't care who I fight. That's the difference about me. It could be anyone. Don't matter how scary they look. Don't matter how many knockouts they've got. Don't matter how many years they've been unbeaten. None of that matters to me. I will fight anyone over and over again. Whether my fight record ends up as 40-2 or 1 or ends up as 25-10-6. I will fight anyone over and over and over and over again, because the only thing I really care about is being part of events that people care about. I know I'm a great fighter. I've proven it to myself for the last 18, 19 years, time and time again. Hiccups and someone being better than me on a night isn't going to deter me from my mission and my goal. And that's being a part of genuine legacy and being a part of the British boxing and the world boxing scene. I think what we've managed to do as flyweights probably hasn't really been done before outside of some exceptional circumstances, like superstars outside of boxing. And I think that what we generated, the eyes, the attention, the views, the build-up, etc., flyweight boxing doesn't get, ever. And I feel like, without being a narcissist, I think I was a big part of that. The way I'll take any fights, the way I'll promote fights, sell fights. You know, I went on a full media tour for that fight. I was still doing the commentary 6-7 weeks out. I was being up for my fighters that I was managing, that was fighting on the matchroom shows, and like I was doing everything. Why? Because I love boxing. Look, 4 days after, get my head punched in, I'm here with my friend to do his corner, put the spit bucket in, because I wouldn't miss his big night for the world.
That was going to be my next question. I think I don't imagine anybody would have argued in case you decided to take some time at home on the back of last weekend. But here you are supporting Lyndon Arthur. A lot of people have written him off heading into this fight with Dimitri Bivol. I know he's your friend and you'll be there supporting him no matter what. What do you make of anybody who isn't giving him a chance for ahead of Saturday night?
Yeah, and you can see why. You can look at some of the performances he's had and think, well, there's no way he's going to beat Bivol. But when you get in the ring, there's one man versus one man. They've got 2 arms, they've got 2 legs, 1 head, 1 torso. Like, it's a fight. Lyndon spent his whole life fighting. Before he ever stepped foot into a boxing ring, he's been fighting. He's a fighter. He's got heart. He's got ambition, and he genuinely believes in himself. He knows he's getting in against the #1 in the division, arguably top 5 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, and he's excited to do so. Same with me with Bam last week. We had a phone call about 5-6 days out of my Bam fight. Me and him, we debuted on the same day in different countries on small halls. If you put both of our money together that we walked away with, it would have been less than £2,000. Now look at us. If you put both our money together, I'm not going to say it, but it's a lot more than £1,000. Like, 1,000 times more than, you know what I mean? So, where we've come from, I left GB, I was laughed at when I turned pro. He's not going to do anything. When he turned pro, he was a GB development, he's not going to do anything. And out of all the people that was around us, all the fighters I could sit here and name, that was on the same squad as us, we're probably 2 of the most furthest, achieved the most, been in the biggest events, earned the most, etc. However you want to do it. out of all the ones that we was on the same squad as, really. So I'm proud of my brother. I know my brother's proud of me. So yeah, we'll do whatever. We're fighters. We'll get in the ring. You give us a fight offer, we accept it. We don't really know how to turn down fights. Maybe it's the ego in us, but we're boxers, we're prize fighters. Not everything has to be perfect. Look at me. Went over away to foreign lands, never been there before, ever before the media tour. They'd picked the referee. They knew exactly who that motherfucker was. Didn't mind that he was hit me about 17 low shots within 2-3 rounds. Count them. Every single shot and every single highlight is down at my leg and in my bollock. But no complaints. I'm just saying, we don't mind giving up every home advantage. We don't mind being the underdog. We don't mind being the person that hasn't got a chance. Because we'll come, we'll get involved, because this is all we've got. This is what we've been living and breathing pretty much our whole life. So look at the event he's part of. How could he say no to this? How would you say no to this?
I mean, I have to add to it as well as what you mentioned there, that you'll go anywhere against any odds up against you guys. There is, speaking to Eddie, the Beerbiev fight is, by all accounts, signed on Bivol's behalf if he comes through Linden, and then he will face the winner of Beerbiev-Smith going into next year.
Yeah, and because, yeah, of course, and you know what I mean, it's Linden's job to make sure that fight don't happen. So that's what we'll find out on Saturday. Maybe it'll be Linden versus Callum Smith rather than Bivol-Arthur. Who knows? We don't know yet. Bivol might throw a jab in his arm, fall out of his socket. Who knows? Look at my second round last time. We don't know. This is boxing. This is fighting. A lot of people foregone conclusion life out of it just because, oh, he's a good fighter. He's definitely better than him, or he's definitely going to win. That's not always how it works. But like I said, we get involved. We turn up. We're professional. We make weight. We do everything we can because we love the sport. We're grateful that we haven't got to go work 12 hours a day. We're grateful that our whole adult life has been dedicated to just fighting, 1 hour, 2 hour training a day, and then you live a life of leisure around that. Okay, every now and then you got to go in and you got to have a fight, and yeah, you might not always win. Like I had 20-0 before I lost my first one. He went about 16 and 17 before he lost to Yard. He's come back since, won an IBO World Champion, and now he's getting in the biggest ring in the division, biggest payday, biggest everything. So how can we complain? We're grateful. Genuinely, we're grateful.
Just final one from me, Sonny. A man who reached out to you last week, Anthony Joshua, I believe you had a little FaceTime with him. Some people have kind of questioning maybe his frosty reception with the media this week. What have you made of maybe his attitude towards this fight week? If you've seen anything different in him from your conversation with him, what should we expect in his fight with Otto Wallin and everything surrounding the Wilder fight? How much of a distraction that might be, if you believe it might be at all?
Yeah, don't get me wrong, yeah. I'm like Switzerland, yeah. I box for Frank. I box for Eddie. I get ringside tickets at Frank's shows. When I'm not with him, I used to get ringside tickets at Eddie's shows. When I'm not with him, I'm like Switzerland. I get on with everybody, yeah? Absolutely everyone. But you got to remember, AJ's had to listen for a few years, for his whole career, people like Dev, Frank Warren, slate him at every given opportunity. So when he comes here, you think he's really in the mood to be talking to these people? Of course he's not. Let's be real. He thinks, oh, fuck off, you little dickhead. You know what I mean? Like, let's be real. Yeah. And at the same time, I actually kind of love the aura that he's exhibiting right now. He is a 6'7" alpha male who won the genetic lottery 2, maybe 3 times. You get born and looking like him, fucking hell, you've done all right. You know what I mean? Your life's all right to like a decent standard straight away. You know what I mean? And the more raw and savage and himself he is, less media friendly and media trained and be humble and stay in school kids that he is, I think it makes him more of a dangerous animal, because when he gets in the ring, the conversation will be in his head is, let me take this fucker's head off, rather than let me box, let me jab, let me move out of the way of that shot, let me make it do it all right. And I think he's had too many people around him trying to reinvent the wheel, do fancy pad work and all of this, when all he really needs is someone to shake him, go and knock that motherfucker out. That's all he needs, in my opinion. Like a genuine belief in that. And that probably goes in and becomes world champion again. That probably goes in and becomes an absolute powerhouse. He's built in a way where 12 rounds is always going to be hard. He can shadow box for 12 rounds and probably be tired. You know what I mean? Just go in there and make the first 3 rounds hell for them. That's what I'd be saying. And I hope it's what Ben Davison's saying, but it's risky because it's a 12-round fight. But at the same time, Frank Bruno the life out of it. Derek Chisora the life out of it. Go in there, get absolutely stuck in for as long as you can. And if not, do what you can. You know what I mean?
All right, Sonny, listen, it's been a pleasure to talk to you. I'll probably take more of your time than what you would have imagined, but you've got your team over there waiting. I'm going to leave you to go enjoy the rest of his press cover and support Lyndon when he goes up on the stage as well. So thank you.
Yeah, man. Big shout out to Lyndon, man. We're taking over.